So, there are three primary types of energy that we can access. And you can think about them. If you went to Starbucks, you could have an herbal tea, you could take a decaf, or you could have like a double shot. And so if I'm interested in building my energy because I have something important that I need to do this afternoon, what I want is called Brahmana. And Brahmana is the chest opening, the whole front body, the whole throat. And basically what you're doing physiologically is you're opening the front surface of your body, which is the part that rests on the future. So if I'm this way, I'm resting on the past, and my surface area is largest on what's behind me. And that's long enough. So forward folds are long enough. They create quiet. I'm resting on what was. And Brahmana is this opening, and you leave energized. So if we did back bends and back bends and back bends, you wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. And it's really very potent, and you only know that when you do. You go on a workshop and you do back bends for 3 days and you don't sleep for 5. And then you think, wow, this really does work. Right? This is crazy. And it's definitely related to the way in which the front of your spinal cord is related to inner organs, and the back of your spinal cord is related to your limbs and your proprioception. And so as we move, we're relating to different aspects of ourselves. So there's a physiological reason, there's a spatial reason. When we inhale, we can get more space on the inhalation. When we fold forward, we can find more space on the exhalation. So they're all related. We are made for this. The last piece is called Samana, and Samana is an internalization, and it comes from twisting. That you can imagine that you're a piece of origami paper and you're folding from one side to another. And what happens is that what's inside meets itself. Right? And when you unfold, then you're releasing, and what's inside is meeting the outer world. So we're folding into ourselves and we're unfolding. And that aspect opens the spinal channel, that's Sushumna, and it resides at the crown of the head. It's Sahasrara, where we are in our Kundalini sequence. So today is really about twisting, and about, as we do, we're internalizing and then we're externalizing, and we're creating this. We're dissolving outside and inside so that we're all one thing. Because really here, we're reconnected. We're all one thing. So let's let the body show us the way. Come to lie down on your back to start out. And just rest your feet on the floor. You'll need 2 blocks and a strap nearby. If you have a blanket, that'll be handy. Jordan, just close that window right there, and then it's letting in the cold. Exactly right. I'm just going to do whatever Lori does. So knees bent, feet flat, let your knees move side to side. As you do, interlace your hands at the back of your head. So the palms are holding the base of your skull, your thumbs pointing down. Which means that as your knees fall to the left, you reach into your right elbow. And as the knees fall to the right, you reach into your left elbow. Widen your feet, Jordan. And then feel yourself fall from edge to edge of your feet. And the more that you can fall to the inner and outer edges of your feet, the more that you're actually making your way up into the abdomen. See if you can find the apex of this twist right at your heart. And then start to say, inhale left, exhale right, and less movement and force, and get a little softer and a little lighter, as though your legs weren't made of wood, they were made of tissue paper. And they fall left and they fall right, and they start to quicken just a little bit. In and out, and in and out. Out the mouth for 10 and 9 and 8. Press the outer elbows down into the floor. Loosen through the belly, loosen through the feet.
neutral, notice the abdomen, the center point. Draw your right knee into your chest, interlace your fingers, keep it close, left leg long. Inhale your left heel up and exhale down. Flex your feet. Roll your ankles on both feet. Open and close your toes. And each time your left heel comes up, really hug your right shin a little bit closer. So if my heel comes up and I hug my shin, then when my heel comes back down, that's when I really start to find the opening on the left side. And the fold deepens on the right side. For 3, and for 2. Good. Put your left heel to the floor, your left hand overhead. Stand in your left heel, press the left heel away and reach the left fingertips. Turn your palm to see the ceiling and turn your chin to the right. To the right, to the right, to the right. And roll your left ribs down into the floor. So that when you come back into the center, interlace your fingers over the left shin, right leg long, and then inhale, right heel up, and exhale down. As you do this, you're creating stability across the low back, and you're lengthening by pressing into both heels. You're lengthening through the low back, mid-back, tuck your chin, press into the back of your head. Everything getting longer behind you. When your right heel's up, really hold that left shin closer. 3. And 2. Your right heel onto the floor, your right hand overhead. Flex your right foot, press into your right heel. You're standing here. Press the back of your hand into the floor and turn your chin to the left. Knees bend, feet flat. Pause there, arms wide. And again, spreading our energy through the body, decompressing the spine and the joints. Draw your right knee in a great circle. Up toward the chest, out toward the side, back into the center. Let your knee open and close as it will, but you're drawing with your right knee. And as you open that right hip, start to deepen the breath. Start to make space up into the chest for 3. Good. For 2. Reverse your direction just for 3. And 2. Put your right hand behind your head. Lift your left hand to meet your right heel so that there's a tap. And then left hand overhead, right leg out, exhale, rise up to tap. Your heel turns in to meet your hand. It's a rotation, it's a little bend in your knee. We're activating the turn of the hip. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. Straighten your left leg. Put your right foot on your left inner thigh. Make tree. And put your right hand on your right thigh. Press your right knee wide now. Stand in your left heel. Take your left hand overhead. Make tree. Hug your left thigh into your right foot. Press your right foot into your thigh. And using your right hand, anchor the right thigh down and reach the left hand high. So that from the navel point, you're extending in all directions. Left heel, right knee, left ribs, right ribs, and center, feet flat. Left hand behind your head, right hand overhead. No, hands wide, big knee circle. Nearly left unfinished. So big knee circle, and without weight in the left knee, see if you can feel how those circles actually start making space through your chest, across your arms, deepening your breathing. And then reversing your direction. how sticky these circles can be. Good. Now left hand behind your head, right hand rising to tap the left heel. And inhale, open overhead. And exhale, rise up, tap your heel. Opening and closing. So it's right here that you're starting to ignite. The belly is the home of your fire. If you felt a little listless lately, just find your breath and know that this space is the space that holds your ability to step forward through the day. 3, get a little warmer. 2, good. And making tree, right leg straightens. Left knee falls open. Left hand, left thigh, right hand reaching. And perhaps you can really start to feel that as you open and activate the navel, the breath will change. Reach to stand, a flexed right heel, press into it. Bring your right thigh against your left foot against your right thigh. Left hand on the left thigh, right ribs down. So pressing into your heels and then dropping into your shoulders and the whole center point of the body opening wide. And then hands to shins. Last place on the back, arms wide, palms down. Arms are your stabilizers. Knees are bent, heels in line with your knees. And just drop your knees towards the right side. You'll rock onto your right outer hip just halfway down and then bring it back up. And fall to the left, halfway down, and bring it back up. Now, if that creates any instability or tension in your low back, then pop a block between your thighs. The exhale as you turn, the inhale as you find center. And if you like, turn your chin away from your knees, 30 more seconds, just this way. Exhale, turn, inhale, center. So you're using the strength, the fire, the stability of your belly to explore the turn of your knees, your low back, your mid-spine. And if you feel frisky, you lift your heels over your hips and you drop your feet. And you start to feel how this really is wringing out the center organs. Just for 3, 2, center, and gently to the right, pause. Stay, press into your heels, flex your feet. Reach your hips away from your shoulders. Hug your heels towards each other. Hug your pelvic floor up towards your navel towards your spine. Stay for 5. You may tremble if you're lucky. 3. Press into your heels. 2. And then bring it back up into center. Heels left. Just maybe halfway down, if not less. Press into your heels, firm your legs, navel to spine. So everything you've done just now, put it together. And what we're doing is stabilizing the energy of the navel. Sit your hips away from your shoulders, your navel into your spine, and into the center. Knees bend, feet flat. Turn your palms open. And now notice, just let this run through your body. And let it take with it a wave of stress or concern, a layer of tension. Let the fire of the belly, the momentum of your strength, let it carry away other things. Press your feet down into the floor and away from you and wag your tail. You can even tap your tail. So any tension in the low back, press your feet down into the floor, a little tiny wag of the tail, little wag of the tail. So you can have knees to chest. Roll up, roll over, hands and knees. Placing the blanket under your knees and your shins, and your hands under your shoulders. You feel it tomorrow. If not right now. right? Cat-cow. So now, once you've activated the navel, cat-cow is really quite different. Use it to lengthen the muscles you just used. Grounding and releasing. Good. So this same sensation of opening and closing, walk your left knee toward the center line. Take your right toes back. This will be tucking. And then knee to chest arch is the exhale. Inhale, arch your back, toe back. Exhale in. So the same movement of your spine, and now we're moving through the legs. And you're using the swing of your hips. Good. Clear out the breath, clear out the movement. Bring your right knee to your right shoulder and cross it behind you to the left. And as you do, begin to bring your ear towards your knee. So that you start to flex into the sides of your spine. Feel the way in which your abdomen and your navel are supporting you. 3, 2, 1. Step your right foot wide and put your right foot flat. Tuck your left toes under and find your fingertips ahead of you. Yep. Good. Now fold back towards child. Keep your right foot flat to the floor. Good. Inhale back, hands, knees. Broaden your back. Stand in that right outer foot and fold back. And explore the inner edge of your ankle, inner knee, inner thigh, rising up. One more, folding back. Your chin tucks in, your hips drop back, and a little bit side to side through the chest. Keep your right foot sealed to the floor. And as you come up, step your right foot outside of your right hand and put your block under your left hand. And that big circle sweeping. Hips forward and back. So all the space you've made, imagine that you're moving your right hand right from your navel. And your hips are carrying you around. And then you keep your right hand right beside your ear, but your hips continue forward and back. 3. Opening. 2. And then pause. Turn your right toes forward. Lift your left knee. And then turn your ribs. Keep lifting your left hip. And turn your right ribs. And turn your right palm to face the floor. Yeah. So you're spinning the pinky edge of your hand down. Yes. Awesome, Lori. That's it. Now lift your left thigh. Yes. And turn your navel right. Ha. Good. Setting the back knee to the floor. Hands down. Down dog. And in your dog, keep the left side soft. And keep the left knee bent. And really the right hand press down, press away. The right hip high and the right heel down. I love to open one side at a time at the start to really start to feel the change. And it's like disassembling something, cleaning it and putting it back together. Knees down, the right knee toward the center, and the left toes back, looking forward, arch of the spine, and the knee chest. Open, close. Just find your breath here. Let it build the breath through the back, through the chest. Bring your left knee to your left shoulder and cross to the right. Bring your ear towards your left knee and flex the spine left and right. For 3 and 2. Good.
Step your left foot wide and put your left foot flat. Fingertips ahead of you, toes tucked behind you. Fold back towards child. Keep your fingertips. Keep your left foot flat. Go slowly. Find your way in. On your inhale, you're rising. On your exhale, you're folding. And all your attention is in that left footprint. The arch is rising. The heel and the ball of the foot are anchored. And on your third time back, just move a little side to side and explore. And that will start to open the ankle and the inner hip. Nice. Nice. Arms are long, spine is long, breath is long. And step your left foot outside of your left hand, placing the block under your right. Turn your left toes out, and that will give you the space for a big reverse circle through the left arm. Hips forward and back. Moving from the center of your navel out into your limbs. Notice the abdomen. And then keeping your left arm beside your left ear, hips forward and back. Setting up by turning your left toes forward. Turn your right toes under. If you like, right hand, bring your block under your shoulder. And then lifting off. First step is to lift your right hip. Second is the left rib. And then spin your left pinky fingers towards the floor. Can you keep all of it and bend your left knee? So the right hip rises. The left ribs turn back. The pinky turns down. Back heel back, front knee forward. Rinse right through the navel. Where can you soften rather than force? And then hands down. As you make your dog, attend to the left side. Left hand. Left hip high, left heel back, right knee soft, right knee bend. And then walk your dog. So one heel, one knee, out through the balls of your hands, the base of your knuckles where your fingers meet your hands. So that the weight comes off the heels of your hands. And then knees bend, heels high, hips back, slowly descending your heels. Bend your knees, pull your heels over the balls of your feet, press your feet down, your hips up, your heels back. 2 more. Bend your knees, pull your heels over the balls of your feet, press your hips high, heels back, drop your head, drop your heels, balls of the hands. 1 more, bend your knees, lift your heels, lift your hips, press your hands, drop your heels. Good, step your right foot between your hands, put your left knee to the floor, and add blocks on either side. So you have a little bit of height right here. And they're right under the shoulders. Turn your left toes flat to the floor. And just put your hands to your thighs for a beat. So interlace fingers right to the thigh. And a little forward and back. And when you come a little bit back, wrap that left hip forward. When we bend the right knee, we tend to want to drop the left hip back and instead keep the left hip coming forward, left hand high. Press the left top of foot down. Now only the chin. Lift your chin and press the left top of your foot down. Stay. Good. Hands down to the blocks, tuck your back toes, and stay on the lifted heel behind you as you fold yourself towards your shin. Bend your left knee down to the floor, lift your hands up high. Looking forward, here's your inhale. Hands down to the blocks, lift your back knee, fold into your thigh. Here's your exhale. So the back heel won't meet the floor. Inhaling up and open. And then exhaling, folding down.
Good. 2 more. Knee down, hands up.
And down.
Opening the left side front body. 1 more. Knee down, hands up.
And now swing your hands down and your hips back. So open the front thigh, which might have gotten a little cranky with that fold. Good. Hands up. And then hands down, stepping back to change.
And the left foot steps up and the right knee comes down. Hands up. Put the top of your back foot to the floor. And as you do, pressing into the top of the back foot will square your right hip forward. Hands to thighs. And just give it a moment. And your anchor is the top of your back foot behind you, even the shin into the floor. And as you activate that pressure down, it will start to open through the front of the hip, the front of the thigh. The right hand up, the right thumb points back. And then only the gaze tracks up the wall. The lift of your chin is really all you need to intensify and open from the right knee to the right ribs to the right hand. And the right hand comes down. Good. Tuck your back toes. Lift your knee off the floor. Super steady right there. Shift your hips up and back. Drop your head. There's your fold. Bend your right knee. Sweep your hands up high. Here's inhale. And then hands down, folding back. Here's exhale. Now start to find, can I become effortless? Knee down, hands up. It just moves through the body. Hands down, levers the hips up, hips back. Knee down, swings the hands up, heart up. And down. Shifting up, shifting back. 1 more. Knee down, hands up. Now just the hands forward and back. See if you can feel as though there were streams of light right out the fingers, that you're making clarity through the body. 1 more. Good. And then hands wide. Set your blocks aside. Step back down dog. Ha! Walk down, wag tail. Oh, so much better. Making space. Making space. So set your blanket aside. In a high plank, turn your left foot to the floor. So the outer left foot to the floor. Your right foot steps halfway up. Lots of weight in your right foot. Turn your right foot out towards the right and the right hand high. Hug your right knee back towards your left heel. Hug your inner thighs and reach your right hand overhead. Press the left hand down. Spin your right knee back and drop your right fingertips. And then right hand high, look down, sit down. Press back down, down. High plank. Outer right foot rolls to the floor. Left foot steps halfway up. Turn the toes out. Left hand high. So hug your left knee back towards your heel. Turn your left palm and reach overhead, letting your elbow bend, letting your fingertips drip to the floor. Hug your left knee back towards your heel. Hug your hips up, and then left hand back and down. Oh, perfect. Wag your tail, wag your tail, wag your tail. Wag your tail. Good. Step your left foot up and put a block inside, and it's back towards the heel, so that the edge of the block is just about 1 inch ahead of my heel. Instead of inside my big toe, and hands wide. Yeah, man. So hands up high. Open, wag your tail, and from there drop into your warrior 2. So as you rise up, find neutral front and back, and then keep the neutral as you drop in. Not falling into the front foot, not falling into the back. 1 more. And then bend your knee and fall open. And pause and look over the front leg. So you're equally weighted between the back heel. The whole front thigh is open, that's what you built.
The front knee is tracking forward and left toward the little toe. You can give it a little play, a little momentum. You're in your heels, not in your toes. Good Lori, with your amazing groupie toes. And reverse back. And reverse back, and reverse back. Open your navel. And then elbow to thigh, sweep over the top. Use your elbow down and away. Open your right hip forward, stay a beat, stay a beat. Right heel down, and now we'll come out. So looking forward, then straighten the front leg, then track your way back. So lifting that right thigh up to hold your heart. Good, keep the front leg straight and sweep forward, left hand down to the block, right hand high. Now look down to your hand and spin your left fingertips to point back towards your back foot. Open the left side collarbone. Now look up and sweep your right hand over. And then back to your hip. Look down to the heel of your hand. Sweep over the top, looking up. And then sweep back, looking down. Good. Last time. Right hand over, look up. And hug your thighs towards each other. So that from the navel in all directions, you're reaching into your back heel, back down. Good, look down, set down. Set the block ahead. High plank, flat to the floor. Elbows back, hard up, little cobra. Where your tail will come halfway down, tuck your chin. Float your hands. And then little cobra, inhale up. Halfway down, tuck your chin, navel the spine, float your hands. And then up. And down. Extending to open the elbows, lifting the hips to open the knees. Feeling the sides of the body. And as you step your right foot up, you set your block inside the heel. Bend your right knee deeply, sweep up, sweep open. Good. And then just 3 times. So Jordan, pull your heels a little closer in line, that's it. Inhaling up and exhaling down. As you come up, notice, am I weighted to the front or to the back? And keep it even as you come down, which means more weight to the back usually. And as you land in your back heel, your front knee tracks right and you open that left hip. All the work we've done from the knee, through the hip, through the pelvis, through the ribs, reverse it. Take it up, take it back, little wriggle. And then bring your right elbow to your right thigh and pause a beat. From your left heel to your left hand. Loosen your left fingers. Find the ball of your left foot. And then reversing, find your warrior, pause it. And like a spring, press straight down, rise straight back. Front leg straightens, little wag of the tail, open the navel, open the throat. Yes. That little moment of decompression, right out the throat. Right hand comes down. Now looking, turn your fingers back. So the heel of your hand lines with the heel of your foot. And the left hand slowly tracks overhead. Look up when the hand is overhead. Sweep your left hand to your hip, look down. So we're opening across the collarbones through the mouth. Reach all the way up and back into your left heel. Sweep back, look down. Your pace, your breath. Inhaling as you come over, exhaling as you look down. And the hand overhead, pause. Left heel to the floor, hug your inner thighs. The navel is holding the posture. And sweeping wide, awesome work, folks. Step back, set your block forward, high plank. Come flat to the floor. So it's this little lift that we want. Lift your hands, elbows back, right? Pause there. And now palms down, elbows stay back, lifting into a baby cobra. So it's a little lift, it's not big. Notice if your shoulders are hugging your ears. It's easiest before you leave the ground. So belly down, shoulders up, back, and down towards your heels. Pull your shoulders with your toes, firm your legs. Now, from this shoulder position, palms drop and the heart comes up. So much better. Right? Roll down. Palms float. Shoulders back and down. Use your legs. Hands to the floor. Lord, find the base of your first finger into the... Yeah, now from there, your shoulder blade. Yes. Mighty. And down dog. Beautiful.
So we're clearing the lines. Good. Left foot will step up. Set your block inside. No step back, my mistake. Before we go, it's important. Turn your right heel in. And it's the foot you would have for warrior two. So bend and straighten, find the whole footprint. And with your left knee bent, I want you to circle your right hip. And as you circle, you're creating more freedom and more clarity from your right hip, your right rib, your right seat, your glutes, your pelvis, all the way into that right foot. So big circles. And then reverse those circles. Your hands are planted, your right foot is planted, the circle is opening this space. And step your left foot up and set the block inside. So don't lose your back foot. You just made a beautiful connection. Left hand, turn your fingers back, just as you did in triangle, but now left knee stays bent. If you need to, 2 blocks. Good. Right hand to your sacrum, palm on your body. So hug your hips towards the center line. Look forward. Because your hips will want to pop out to the right, and you're going to swing them to the center, and that takes your heart forward and your knee forward and your right hand back. Hug your knee to your shoulder. Hug your shoulder to your knee and get weightless on that left hand. Open your right palm. Stand in your feet. 3. Where can it go? 2. Turning the navel right. Legs are clear and strong. 1 more. Right hand reaches overhead, 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 finger toward the floor. And then set down. Good. Step back, find your dog. Notice your right hand, right hip, right heel. Now, at least for me, that's a connection. Right hand to right heel feels like one thing. Turn your left heel in, turn your left toes out, bend your right knee. And now find the circle, explore the circle. Right now my left foot has no connection to my hands. So find your circle. What needs to change in your mid-back, in your elbows, in your fingertips that you could find your foot. Big circle. And clear it up. So weirdly enough, we tend to hold, if you're right hand dominant, you hold your phone in your left hand and then you tap with your right. You navigate, which means the electromagnetic charge of your phone, reverse direction, tends to land in the left side of your body, which creates a frequency that isn't yours, that's primarily on the left side. So if the left side here is really sort of wonky and out of sorts, this is part of the reason. Keep the left foot glued to the floor. Step your right foot up. Keep the left foot glued to the floor. Bring your block inside your right heel. Turn your right fingertips back. Hug your knee and left hand to your sacrum. And let it move a little side to side. Now you're hugging it toward the center line and looking forward. Swing it out, it gets lost, swing it in, the heart comes forward. The left heel down, the legs firm, and the left hand high. Right at the last minute, you just pivot the chin up. And let the current from your left heel run through your left hip, run through your left hand, open the collarbones. Bending the front knee, standing in your feet, and letting the clarity of the pose get rid of the static in your body. Left hand overhead. Left heel down. Hug your right knee to your right shoulder. From the navel point, extend in all directions. Awesome work, awesome work, awesome work.
Left hand down, now notice your dog. Just notice your dog. Left hand, left hip, left heel. So good. Walk it up, walk it up. High plank to the floor, walk your thighs back to the tops of your feet, flat and check there's nothing on ahead of you or beside you. So that same little gesture, right? Bring your ribs down, walk your thighs back, find the toenails in the floor, big toes all the way to little toes, and your abdomen is rising, your navel is gathered up into your body to firm the legs. Roll your heels in to drop your inner thighs down, right? It's like you're flexing the very inside base of your glutes. Keep that, and see if you can roll your heels to neutral and press the pinky toe into the floor and wrap your outer hips down. So outer hips down, you can let your heels splay a little bit, you'll feel the thighs. And then keeping the outer hips bolted down, can you find neutral? Inner thighs down, outer hips down, now lift your palms. Good, from these legs, reach your right hand across to the left, elbow back to the chin. Left hand out and back. Inhale, exhale, in and out. So the work is in your legs and the navel instead of in the low back. If it's tense in the low back, you can put a palm on the floor as you reach. Good. 3, 2. 2 hands forward, 2 hands back. Tuck your chin and draw back. Inhale. If your low back feels safe, float your feet. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last time, you'll bring your elbows back. Drop your feet, drop your palms, and roll your heart up. Walk your fingertips to point wide, your elbows to point in, and very lightly, pressing one, pressing the other. Good. Thighs stay on the floor, roll your belly down. Walk your forearms to the right. Now sink your left hip into the mat. And turn your chin towards your right shoulder and drop your left ribs toward the mat. So left hip down, open the left ribs. We're making deep length in all the connective tissue of the left side body right now. Walk through center. Little wag the tail, notice left, notice right. Tops of the feet are flat, thighs are heavy. Walk your forearms to the left. And as you do, you're finding that bend of the spine to the left side. Drop your right hip down. And invite the right connective tissue, the right psoas, from your mid-back down across the front of your pelvis. Let that get long. Bringing your chin towards your left shoulder, open the right side ribs, even the right side of your neck and jaw. Good. And into the middle. Child's pose for a beat. And just fold back. And just fold back. Lying down. So we've gone deeper and deeper into the joints, deeper and deeper from the side body in toward the spine. Interlace your fingers. Look ahead. And so if I'm looking to my hands, I can see my interlaced fingers. My elbows are approximately shoulders width apart. Press the pinky edge of your hands down. Rise up, keep your elbows on the floor. Good. Bring your knees a little bit back and a little bit underneath you. You'll tuck your chin. You're going to tap the crown of your head and then come back to this posture.
So chin tucks, rock forward, press your elbows down, tap your head, come back, and look at your knuckles, right? Rock forward, tap, press into the elbows. And as you press into the elbows to come back, you're opening the upper back. You're bringing the navel into the spine. Walk your knees a little bit back so that as you come forward and back, you're starting to open through the shoulder girdle. You may continue that, which is going to continue to open the underside of your arms, the backs of your shoulders. You're building strength in the backs of your arms, or bring the crown of your head down. Bring your hands back against the back of your head, tuck your toes, walk your feet in, and press the elbows down. As you press down, rock your heels back, bring your head off the floor. So it's not a headstand. You're rocking your heels off the floor, put the crown down. So it's the same motion, but we're in the feet instead of in the knees, and you're building strength from the elbows through the navel. Ha. For 3. It's a great prep for headstand. 2, there is no pressure on the neck or on the back. And then pausing with the elbows down, the head floats, the heels, hips high, shoulders broad for 3, for 2. 1, bring your knees down. Set a block between your heels and come to kneel. If you need to, put 2 blocks between your heels and pause tall.
Mighty. I'm in neutral. So from that inversion, just let everything settle. And there are 3 layers to settling. As you close your eyes a beat, there's a physical settling. Like a snow globe that's been shaken, you can feel that your breathing is becoming more regular. As your breathing is regulated, your shoulders drop. So as the physical body arrives, the processing of the brain is no longer concerned with survival. And as the mechanisms of your body become sorted and stable, now we have this beautiful wave of boredom. So that's the second wave. The mind is now free. It means the body is stable. Homeostasis is arriving. Our blood pressure, our inversion is passing. Our heartbeat is regulated. Our breath is regulated. And so now we can start to think. And with that thinking mind, I want you to settle. And in the second wave of settling, it can be emotions. As the body becomes still, let yourself feel whatever comes up. That there is a new wave of experience. I didn't know I was holding that. I didn't know I was so tired. And that gets a bigger breath, and you let it pass through. So that the third wave is an integration. Third wave is the sensation of something larger and fuller, mature and supportive. We come into contact with it. We remember that it's who we are. And that's a very different place. Keep it with you. Keep it quiet. You put your left foot flat, your heel next to your right knee. So however you need to, you can stay seated on your block, left foot flat. Interlace your fingers and bring your left knee up off the floor. So as you do this, you're bringing the front of your spine toward the back of your spine and you're getting taller. Tuck your chin, broaden your shoulders, elbows wide. This was you lying on the floor as we began, hugging the shin in towards your body. Feel where there's tension in the mid-back. And as you put your foot to the floor, put your fingertips behind you. You'll spin your fingers back, your thumbs forward, your heart high. So open the elbows, open the chest, and find the right shin to the floor, the left heel to the floor, chest broad. And find that 3-part wave, settling the body. Noticing the experience, letting it become quiet. Work there, float your hips slowly. Use your left heel to draw your hips up. Allow the right hip to explore, to go a little side to side. A little side to side. The right knee down, the right shin down, the right thigh opens a little side to side. How the right thigh is connected across the abdomen and through the ribs. Tuck your chin, set your seat to the block. Interlace your fingers and grow tall and stable. So the left foot goes down, the left arm comes inside, and all you need is that elbow to knee. Glue that. And as you hug your knee, feel it from the abdomen to sit you up tall. Press your knee into your elbow, sit yourself up. Right hand is going behind you to the sacrum like our lunge, and you're turning your right rib right. Reach your right hand back. Lead your left hand forward, but keep hugging the knee. And now find quiet where it's not forceful. And that turn to the right is stabilized at the base and the navel, and your chin is free to turn forward and back. Right to the navel, and then hands down. Which might not feel like much, but energetically it's a big imprint. You're steady. Left shin down, right heel beside the left knee. So we're opening this aspect of the navel and then we're turning from it and we're driving it into the body and down into the seat. So interlace your fingers and rise up. That you're hugging your shin into your body. And as you do, your heart can come up. There's a stabilization. As we go further inside of ourselves, we want to trust what we find. So there's no rush. There's a sensation of a foundation. Keep that. Right heel down, fingertips back, thumbs wrapped in, shoulder blades in, under the heart. Sink your seat and lengthen up underneath the point of your chin. Work there, or use your right foot. Your heel draws your hips forward. Your left shin goes down. And a little side to side. And you explore so slightly. Left shin to the floor, crown of the head long. Inviting length through the front of your left thigh, through the chest, into the lips. And then you sweetly sit your seat to the block, interlace your fingers, and stay so tall and stabilize your height. Good. So right foot to the floor, right elbow inside. hug the two together. And as you hug them together, feel your heart come up, navel to spine. Hand to the low back, stable turn. Left hand back, thumb up. Right hand forward, thumb up. Now hug your knee to your elbow. Oh. That you could wring out of you all the uncertainty. Am I? Maybe? Not enough? Too much? Chin forward and back. And as you bring it forward, you're going to bring it down and step into your dog. And just walk your dog and let all of that out into the floor wagon. So there's ideally a real opening through the spine here. Hips are moving, feet are moving, head is moving side to side, arms out long, hips up high. Walk your left foot towards the center line, lift your right heel, roll your right knee open, and straighten your right leg as you can. Bend your left knee, bend your right knee, bend your elbows, and then press it out straight. Up. Gently. Bend your knee. Press it straight. Roll your right knee open. Keep your right knee bent. Roll your right knee open. Sink into your left heel. Good. And change sides. Foot down. Left heel floats. Doesn't have to be high. As you press into your feet, the arms extend. As you bend your knees, you bend your elbows. You wrap your elbows in. You press out straight. Bend your knees, you bend your elbows, you press out straight. And then you bend your left knee and you roll it left and you open the left hip. And then bending your knees, you're going to bring your knees to the floor and your hips to the left. So feet right, hips back to the left, sitting down. Makes sense. And I have the shin of my right in the ball, in the arch of my left, right? Super. Right hand to the left knee, left hand back. Let's take a block with us. So you remember from, what was that? That was 2 weeks ago when we did the little lift and you let the back hip come off the floor and then you sink it down. Yeah. So that you're rolling and you're dropping back in, and you're rolling your right hip off the floor, and you're dropping back in. So if I turn my hips, find the edge, and keep your chest, now drop your hips back. Yeah. And then roll it open, turn your chest a little more, keep the left ribs, drop your right hip back, and down, and down. And your left ribs go left, and your right hip goes back. And take your peeling open, the inner aspect, yeah, and drop it down. And then keep it. Awesome. Nice one, Lori. Now relax your right arm. It's big and quiet. And then find center. It's a huge turn. Center. So up, feet to the left, hips to the right. Block goes behind you, left hand, right knee. And go slowly because your spine is still turned from the other side. So you just kind of start out really softly. Right ribs. Right? Just explore your right ribs back and then your right ribs forward. Your right ribs back. And if the rest of my body is quiet and I'm moving my right ribs, then I can allow my pelvis to go wherever it wants to. It's not turning through the hips yet. So I'm really allowing my right ribs to turn back, and then I'm keeping that, tack it back, and dropping the left hip down toward the floor. So I'm tacking my right ribs back, keep that, and letting my left hip drop back and down. So it's a very internal, right behind the navel. and keep both. Left hip is heavy, right ribs tack back. And no one may ever see any difference. It's structural, it's internal. Right ribs, left hip drops down, right ribs wrap back. And see, there's a band of connective tissue. Yeah, and you come to the center. Good, straighten your legs, shake out your feet. And just notice, when you let go, notice if there's a little, that's what we're making. So the right knee bends, go this way. Right hand comes inside, just as we did before. Hug your knee to your arm. Now left rib tack back. Hug your knee to your arm and turn to the left, standing tall. So all of it comes together. Your front heel, your right heel, hug it towards your hips to sit you up. Like you did in that half camel. And press your arm into your knee. Now lift your left hand back, stay free. If you're going to lift your left hand, hug your knee to your arm for your stability. It's at the navel. Chin forward and back, turning through the middle. Now when you let go, hands on thighs, just notice what happens. Tail down, heart high. Left knee bends. Feel in. Right leg long, left hand inside. So hug your knee to your arm, first step. And as you do, see if you can gather navel to spine, and you're coming up. So it's this heel drawing towards the left hip bone, and that creates the chance resting. Open out. Hugging the navel to the spine, tacking the right ribs back, dropping the left hip. 3. It is inside and it's deep. 2. Now when you uncoil, legs out, hands to thighs, let go. Notice the energy from your navel in all directions. Good. Take your blanket. Goes under the back edge of your hips. Blocks under your knees. If you need to, grab your strap. Throw across your feet. So my feet, it's as though the balls of my feet are resting on the wall ahead of me. My tail is back. Yeah. Chest comes through. So elbows are heavy, heart's coming through, which might feel like a lot for you, or it might not feel like anything. My shoulders are down my back. So this is the shape we made in our little baby cobra, as though I'm floating my hands off the floor. So imagine that you're trying to draw it. Yeah, this way. Good. Keep that. And now with that same lift of the heart, you're bringing yourself forward. Now if you can, you're holding your outer feet. But your gaze is forward and your heart is coming through your knees. You're standing in your hands or you're standing in your strap. Lift a little, walk your seat back one step, and then come back in. So it's a very clean fold. I have it grounded through the mid-back at all. And then you stand in your feet, rise up tall, hands on thighs, and notice. Stay seated here. Cross your right shin in front of your left. Keep your heels forward under your knees. Blocks out in front. Same motion. So you just made this sweet crease in your hips. Hands on blocks. Walk your seat back the way you just did. Keep your heart forward. Maybe forearms down. You are inviting your heart forward, and now press your outer feet down into the floor. Press your outer knees down into the floor. From the navel, now you may hover over the blocks. 3. Press your outer knees down, tail back, hover. 2. Walk your fingertips forward, fold as you can, and really rest. Coming up, take your blocks with you and take them to the right so that you start to fold your belly over your right thigh. Hands on blocks if you need it, or forearms to the floor as you can.
So your navel is softly turning to the right. You're dropping your left hip. Your right ribs tack back. Same movement, just a different fold. The fold is bigger. Right ribs tack back. Left hip drops down. Now we find those 3 waves, the body settling. As there's ease in your physical body, look for an emotion to arise. And as the emotion is invited to pass, find the quiet. Nice, 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 great work. And then as you bring it up, sitting tall, notice that as you sit tall in the center, there's going to be an uncoiling that happens as the connective tissue returns to center. Changing the cross of your feet. So we start out, tail back, hands to blocks. Walk your seat back, walk your forearms, maybe your fingertips, however you need support. You can always stand your blocks up taller, you can stand your blocks up taller. But the weight of your hands allows your heart to come through, and your tail to go back. Now as you find this, flex your feet and press into the outer edges of your feet and press your outer knees down. And the outer knees down lifts the navel to the spine and you float. So let this fold be activating. Let it open your eyes, pressing through the outer feet. It's as though you could lift right up off of your seat. And you're strengthening navel to spine, rooting into the floor, opening the upper back, and from there, you find your fold. And from there, you walk your blocks a step to the left. You may use blocks or not. I have a block under my right arm, under my left hand, but my right arm is to the floor. So whatever's needed, and now you're finding that movement of the left ribs rolling back and the right hip dropping down. That same internal unfolding of right hip, left ribs, and now chest meets thigh. Soften your body to sweeten your breathing. Notice thoughts or emotions that arise. Let them pass on the breath. And then find the quiet that's behind all of it. Rise to center, hands on thighs.
wait for that little uncoil. Noticing the inner landscape, the inner architecture that you've created. The seat is clear, the spine is tall, the heart is high. That architecture creates a state of mind, samana, an internal vision. You take your strap, but just to clear it out so there's no tension or holding through the upper chest. Your strap goes behind you, it's quite wide. Your heels are forward rather than tucked in. And as you lift your hands, you'll fold forward. And as you drop your hands, you rise up. So any last shift that needs to happen through the upper back. If you need your strap to get it shorter. If it needs to go wider, 10. And we're just moving through the front of the chest, out through the arms, out through the top of the head, creating access from the body into the head. Wag the tail, shake it loose wherever it gets sticky, moving it all the way out. 3, 2. Good. And as you come back up, you'll release the strap, sitting tall, and notice what you've made. So we want to reside in this space and keep the front body open. And to do that, we'll build a little recliner. If you have a big bolster, get a big bolster and throw a block underneath the back of it. If you have blocks in your blanket, then what you'll do is put one block behind you on its belly and one block behind you on its side, and then take your folded blanket behind you. Right? As you do, you put the soles of your feet together, lay the block in the middle of your back, and the block on its side under the back of your head, and the arms go on. So it may take a couple tries as you land, soles of your feet together, knees wide, arms wide. And you'll be there for a steady 3 minutes, so set yourself up, whatever's needed. So you can really trust that. Any pinching or tension through your low back, then you just bring your feet flat and your knees back together. Begin to find 4 counts in, 4 counts out.
on your inhalation, you're filling your throat, and then your chest, and then your solar plexus. On your exhale, you're emptying from the navel, the solar plexus, to the heart. So the inhalation is filling from the throat down toward the navel, and the exhalation is emptying from the navel up to the throat. You're smoothing the breath, noticing any gaps, any roughness, any space. The next phase is simply to straighten the legs, letting the thighs be heavy. Turn your toes in, your heels heavy, so that your kneecaps square to the ceiling. And then when you relax your feet, they won't fall quite so far open. And as your thighs fall, let the breath go even further into the belly on the inhalation. As the thighs are heavy, feel the backs of the knees open. And as the backs of the knees open, feel the very length of your toes. That if the toe pads were little faces, that the neck of each of those little faces going down into the feet could go along. The very subtlest of lengths could be explored. A continuous unfolding internally. And with
with each unfolding, an increase in ability and vulnerability, possibility. The breath smoothing all of it. And gently rolling to one side, you slide the block blanket aside, coming back to the floor. And once on the floor, bend your knees, put your feet flat, lay your blanket over your belly, let your knees knock in, your heels wide, and this widens the sacral plate beneath you. So knees are in, heels are out, thighs falling in and down. Put a little more weight in your feet and lightly, lightly press them away. And just feel that anchor through the low back. A little more weight into the upper body. A little more breath into the backs of your lungs. Slowly relaxing the feet and the weight. So the options are to stay as you are. If you have tenderness in your low back, it's a great place to stay. The second option is legs out long. A third option is if you took your blocks and you put them side by side on their bellies, just in front, and you put the soles of your feet together in our cobbler pose. You rest the outer edges of the feet onto the blocks, the palms turned open. You feel? Do what feels right. Maybe child or dog. And then as you're ready, you can lengthen your legs over those blocks that you have, or just remove the blocks into full Shavasana. this quiet, in close contact with an aspect of yourself that is quiet and wise and supportive. And this is our aim, this is where we look to go when there is any agitation. Taking your hand slowly over your head, reaching out long. Hold an opposite elbow, wriggle. And in the fall, in the change of the seasons, fall is a Vata season. It is a very mobile season, and it can cause real mobility in our thinking and in our moods, that suddenly we can shift from calm to upset. Roll to your right side, draw your knees in, let your head rest on your right arm. Fill the backs of your lungs with breath, and trust that even as you return to this fuller breath, to this more active body, that there's a quiet inside that we can establish whenever needed, to rise up, to cross your legs, to begin to move softly from side to side. And finding that calm can be as simple as finding a gesture. Just maintain that gesture for 30 seconds, for a minute. And in that gesture, maintain the steady rhythm of a breath. You can be opening and closing your hands. It can be moving side to side. It can be folding up and down. It can be this steady beat of breathing in time with a walk. But as you find a rhythm of movement in your body, and then you find a rhythm of breath in your body, hold opposite elbows, little shimmy, go up, tuck your chin, settle down. Land your hands on your thighs, and just notice that this is not an exterior force, this is yours. Our body will respond. Different shapes create different outcomes. Whatever you require, whatever pharmaceutical intervention you're asking yourself for, your body is ready to provide for you. Feel the quiet, the samana, the digesting of your experiences so they become yours, quiet and whole. All the leaves fall off the trees, and the trees remain. Sweep wide, reach tall. Palms together, thumbs to the forehead center. Om Shanti Shanti, peace, peace, perfect peace. Namaste. So like trees in the wind, we definitely move deeply into the spine, right? So later if it gets testy or tight, keep moving. You know where you need to go. You know what you need. You don't need me. You just kind of get in there. Oh, right, that's the spot. Oh, so let yourself hooch around into places you haven't been in a while. Let it make circles. Replay the first 20 minutes of this practice tomorrow if you need to. If your hips are low back or tight, where we started, loosened that up. And it established strength at the center. And so if we are relying on the shoulders and the back to hold and carry our lives, then we've misplaced our energy. And I can feel it just doing that. Put it in your navel. So you don't do all the digestion in your mouth. You don't digest your food with your shoulders and your head. Down into your body. This is where the fire is, this is where the strength is, and this is where the mobility needs to be. Not mobile, agitating your mind, but really mobile, digesting your experience. Have a great week, a wonderful October. So good to have you here. Replay at any time, parts, pieces as it serves you. We'll be back next Saturday. Keep going, keep going. Go in, go in, go in. Welcome to autumn. Namaste.